11. Friends don't lie.
Stop it! You're freaking her out!
She's freaking me out! The upside down.
Do you understand what he's talking about?
No. I found the chocolate bunny!
Oh God, please tell me it's not the kid.
I need you to hide!
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Holy shit.
Welcome back. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
This time it's Chapter 2, The Weirdo on Maple Street. We're back. Everybody seems to be enjoying our rewatch coverage so far.
Yay.
I'm so glad to hear that. We've covered this before, but not quite in this way. And we're going to be rewatching every single episode of Stranger Things week to week, sometimes 2 a week, until the season 5 comes out in late November. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we'll cover that. So if you've never heard our Stranger Things coverage before, welcome. But more likely,
come on in.
If you're listening, this is just nostalgic fun for you as well.
Yeah.
We're going to keep kind of revisiting our own past throughout revisiting the past of Hawkins while we do this coverage. And so tag along. This is going to be fun.
And just so you know, this is a rewatch, so we might allude to potential spoilers in the future for up to season 4.
Yeah, we don't plan on like dropping major fucking bombs, but this is geared toward people who are also rewatching with us. So just be aware of that. You know, I can't imagine you can turn this shit off. If you've seen Chapter 2, you probably watched the whole show before just because it's like, damn, this is crap.
This is good.
Let me sell my radio for this.
I remember growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Do you remember the meme that there's like one of the, not earlier memes. I mean, memes have been around since like late 2000s, but you know, the Tyrone from Dave Chappelle. And it was like, you got any more of them Stranger things? Like that was like because we were all like, this shit is good, dude. Because, you know, Netflix wasn't that big a deal yet. We were all like, damn, this streaming show shit's fire. Mm-hmm. Give me more of that.
I'm on to something.
I'm going to check out this Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, early 2010s.
Let me check out
Netflix was something else.
What is this? Glow?
Sense8?
Oh, don't bring Glow.
I like wrestling.
That hurts. Glow hurts.
Glow hurts. That's not a song. Any hoozle.
I would love for you to keep singing it, though.
We'll have plenty of opportunities for that in this episode. Let's get into some MadLibs for this. Why don't you do that, buddy?
MadLibs. It's the time of the episode where I ask these two jabronis for words. Your verbs, your nouns, your adjectives, so we can put pen to paper.
What about adverbs?
Adverbs too. Sometimes. Can't forget about them.
As long as there ain't no goddamn pronouns.
God damn it. My pronouns are American and patriot. Just kidding. They're he, him. In case anyone was wondering. But anyway, we have the official Stranger Things MadLibs book. Actually, Andy, you went first last
Yeah,
time.
and I'm going to do it again.
So Andy, give me a number.
417.
Kit, I need a part of the body, plural.
Ooh, knees.
Okay.
Oh, I love the way you said it. Ooh, knees. I love it when they get scuffed. I love putting pads on them. Andy, can I have a noun?
Dinosaur.
Kit, noun.
DNA.
Tino, DNA. Andy, verb ending in ing.
Sexting.
It isn't sex, it's the next best thing. Kit, can I have a plural noun?
Constituents.
Andy, I just need a letter of the alphabet.
W.
Should have been D.
Can I have a verb, please?
What, ing or which
Just verb.
Scraping or scrape.
I need another number.
64.
Noun.
Squeeze. Wait, that's a verb. Squeegee.
I need a person in the room, Andy.
Oh, God. Kit.
Adjective.
Hairy.
Plural noun.
Cucumbers.
Kid, I need a verb ending in ing.
Lubing. To lube. It should be lubricating.
Sure, yeah.
Because lubing, you'd say lubing up to make that up, you know?
Join to write lubing up.
Or whatever works better. That or lubricating.
Lubing up does work.
Okay.
Andy, I need a plural noun.
Bidets.
I have an adjective.
Funny.
Andy, I need a first name.
Clark.
And lastly, Kit Laser, I need a place.
The Fortress of Solitude.
Okay, well, stay tuned to the end of this episode to listen to the story that these two guys created called Hawkins Middle AV Club.
All
Oh, I
right.
almost wore that shirt today. Shoot.
Hawkins, president of Hawkins AV Club.
Do you eat kangaroos for breakfast?
I am curious to hear what your guys' experience was rewatching Chapter 2. And Andy, what
Yeah.
are your overall thoughts?
I think that this episode is phenomenal. I think that it is perfectly paced. It's this incredible balance. It's good seasoning of like funny and mysterious and a little scary.
Yeah.
I love the little touches that they have in this episode of just like tiny character moments. Like Mike is hyped about his 22-inch TV that's 10 times bigger than Dustin's, and the lazy boy and Elle's little smile when she gets to use it for the first time. It's fun. Side note, I am in the market for a couch, and that I looked up a lazy boy couch. Those fuckers are insanely expensive. Mike's family is well off. The couch, today's money, was like $9,000. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not lazy boy rich.
Right.
Yeah.
How do they get so rich if they're lazy?
I know, right? Again, I think that Hopper is crushing it with his little subtle performances. I love his little when Callahan suggests that Benny's death was suicide. And just like David Harbour does great work as Hop, especially early on.
Yeah.
I think that the only complaint that I could levy against this episode are Jonathan's choices as a character. I don't love his visit to Lonnie's. And honestly, I think he's a little bit of a creep in this episode. And it's uncomfortable.
Because of the photo taking?
The photo stuff. Yeah. But overall, I think that this is a wonderful episode.
I agree. This is another great episode. Everything you just said, Andy. I love how we're only in episode 2. And yet, when they reveal subtle things or they allude to things when it pertains to the mystery of where's Will, who's 11, even though we're only in episode 2, you're still like, oh shit, what's that mean? And like, you're so captivated by what's happening. The characters are incredible. I don't mind Jonathan going to his dad. I think that does a lot to like kind of show what their home life is more like. But I agree, and I think we made fun of it a lot in our original coverage. Like Jonathan just like taking photos, like, oh, we're having a pool party? What's up? Let me turn the flash off so they don't see me. I want to bring up a couple things though. I listened to our last episode of this that we did in 2017, and I was just so fucking embarrassed because I had the hardest time calling Hopper. Do you remember this?
Harbor.
I kept calling, Harper. But yeah. But I wanted to ask you guys this specifically, but we'll get to it in the recap. But there's a moment in this episode that when it happened, I don't remember it being there. There's a shot in this towards the end that I do not remember being there in our original coverage. And it led me down a rabbit hole where I was like, did they...
So it's like a Mandela effect thing?
Did they...
Like
maybe,
they
or
edited it?
did they edit things in to the older episodes now that the show has gotten bigger and bigger? And I did find an article where Matt and Ross Duffer have admitted to editing past seasons. Quote, we have George Lucas things that people don't know about is the quote that Matt Duffer has said in I think it was an interview with The Independent.
Really? I don't like that.
Yeah. And they've already
Chrissy,
said,
wake up.
Christy, I don't like this. And speaking of season 4, they the only thing that they've called out that they are going to edit, I don't know if they've actually edited already, but they are going to edit a scene because in season 4 there's a plot hole with Will's birthday specifically. They've already said they're going to go back and change that to make
He's going to jump up and go, McClunky.
McClunky. Yeah. What's your birthday, Will? McClunky. And then Han Solo shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a moment we'll get to in the recap where I just do not have any memory of this happening. I don't like it if it is added because I remember it so differently in my head. I'm excited to see what you guys think when we get to it. But I just wanted to bring that up, that is a thing that apparently the Duffers have been doing. They've been going back and changing. Most of it, from what I understand, they've been very coy. There's not like a list of what they've changed. But a lot of it is they've gone back and made certain CGI shots look better.
Okay.
Which that's okay. But I have a feeling that they just threw in a shot here, and I'm not a fan of it. If it is indeed true, I'll see if
Big
you guys
if
remember
true.
it. Yeah, big if true. But Kit, How did you feel about this episode?
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be, at least until season 2, any criticism that I have after in an overall thoughts with any weight. And maybe not even then. Hot take.
No.
I don't know, probably. But yeah, this is fucking great. The whole first season is probably perfect, is what I recall thinking. And it's probably what I'll think again. This is so fucking fun to be rewatching. In fact, I do this thing every week, as you guys know. I'm famous for this. I won't watch any of the pod stuff until like Saturday. And then I'll be like, fuck. And one movie I was like, oh, and then but then I only had Game of Thrones and Stranger Things to watch at like 11 p.m.
This is a good Saturday.
And I was like, wow, this is fun. What's some good TV?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is great, man. And you see some of the references that we'll talk about in the Eggos section, and some of which we've already mentioned and will come up many times, are like so blatant.
This might be the most blatant These Are the Eggos episode in the whole series, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's so fun in that way, and it's used so well. And certain things are really creepy, but like from a writing perspective, it's really brilliant. Why it's important that certain characters do that, and how it pushes the plot forward and pushes relationships forward, and just really good stuff, man. I love all of this stuff. I even like teared up a little bit at a random scene. I'm so excited to see what my favorite moments were in 2017 and what they're going to be this time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident they'll be similar again. I like that I'm the most consistent. I'm pretty proud of that.
So far, one episode in.
Well, also our Game of Thrones ranking, motherfucker. Like, I just got my taste. I stick to it.
You stick to it.
I'm the only one that's honest, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a liar.
And he just makes up shit. Eggo roulette.
My name's not even Andy.
I like to think that Andy has just grown as a person. Yeah, he's Steve.
The listeners are so confused.
I know.
There's 3. Yeah, I don't have anything smart to say other than this is so fun. This is so damn fun. I'm so happy I found the chocolate pudding. Let's get into the play-by-play. You guys want to do that?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, right before we do that, let's take one brief break to hear from one of our sponsors. And we're back. We're ready to do our complete deep dive, play-by-play, scene-by-scene coverage of Chapter 2, The Weirdo on Maple Street, which Netflix describes thusly. Lucas, Mike, and Dustin try to talk to the girl they found in the woods.
How's it going?
Hey, girl.
Hopper questions an anxious Joyce, boy is she, about an unsettling phone call. So we drop in. The rain is still pouring from where we left off, which is a great establishing shot. 11 is now back at Mike's in the basement. All the boys are questioning her rapidly. I love the bit where Dustin says, "Do you have cancer?" Because she's bald.
Maybe she's deaf.
Claps, scares her. Not deaf. Because she's not answering.
Stop it. You're freaking her out.
You're freaking me out.
Yeah, it's so good, man. We should put that in our intro.
We should.
Mike gives her clean clothes. She tries to change right then and there, and they all panic. No.
Oh my God.
But honestly, this scene was like this little bit where she's so terrified, and it works even better later in the closet for me. She doesn't want the door to the bathroom shut because she's so traumatized. And again,
3 inches.
10 years later almost, where Millie Bobby Brown has come out and she's just like, and no hate to her. I promise I don't mean it that way. It is what it is. But ever since she said that she doesn't really like movies and she doesn't watch any of them, I've always been like, that's just not a thing I can be friends with someone after saying, but she really is such a good child performer, at least. We haven't seen her anything that wasn't directed by the Russo brothers or something in a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of Netflix movies is all
she needs to get away from the Netflix
she's
contract.
A true blue, but I don't think she cares because she doesn't even watch movies.
That's
And
true.
she's got their clothing line and that's all, it's like.
She's got Bon Jovi now.
But she's so good in this episode.
She's amazing.
Fuck, dude, this is amazing for 11, 12-year-old to be this good of an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she goes in the bathroom. She doesn't want the door shut. And it's a really effective scene, I think. Lucas, just right off the bat, very defensive, doesn't like that this stranger's here.
Lucas is so aggravated by her presence in these early episodes. It's kind of funny.
Well, you remember when you were a kid and like there was this outsider, especially if it was a girl who you didn't vibe with.
A courier for cooties, am I right, guys?
Like he's jealous of her for getting Mike's attention. And also he's so concerned. Like we should be talking about Will. Who the fuck is this?
Fuck are we doing here?
Who the fuck is this? Where's Will?
How did they get her back to Mike's house, like from the woods, where they're like, "Come on, come with us," and she's like, "No, please."
For sure, it's all rainy out there.
I can understand Lucas's frustration then because like, we spent 3 hours getting her here. Just like, come on this way, over here.
Well, they were probably just like, come on. And she was like, maybe they have more of that ice cream stuff.
Fries?
I just killed 2 guys. I'm hungry.
Did you have Rowley's fries?
Yeah.
Did you catch the fun little mention where Lucas is like, she's probably escaped from Penhurst Mental Hospital?
I did.
Which is
the nut house in Curly County.
Yeah, something we visit in season 4.
And
Way to steal the Eggos.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was an Eggo.
Yeah, way to jump segments there, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah, and they want to tell Mrs. Wheeler. They want to tell Karen about her presence. But then they're like, wait, we can't do that. We can't tell our moms. We're all going to get in trouble. It's going to be
houses will become Alcatraz.
Oh my God.
They're going to be, never mind. And they sneak around the front and ring the doorbell. That's the trick that Mike comes up with. She can stay here tonight. In the morning, she'll go out the front and pretend like she's just now arriving, and we'll get my mom's help, and I won't get in trouble. And you guys won't get snitched on. And we're all going to be happy.
You're letting a girl sleep here?
Oh my God. So they leave.
Did you guys ever have those? How old were you when your parents were like, yeah, a girl can stay over? Was that never a thing?
Oh yeah. But I was 16.
Not even in like that's your girlfriend kind of way, but like there's like a girl that happens to be a friend in the friend group.
16.
Never had a girl that was a part of the friend group that
And he's like, you can be friends.
wanted to spend the night. I don't know. I think when I was like 16-ish, it was definitely a no-go.
Yeah.
But when I was like 18, I think once I was in like college, then it was like, just do what you want.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
I remember being 16 and I was on a soccer
Carol was just excited. A girl wanted to talk to you.
No, not at all. No, I was 16. I was on a soccer team and all of the kids in our soccer team were staying the night at my house. Mm-hmm. And we were just going to play like Halo and shit all night. That's all we were going to do. But one of the guys brought a girl. I don't know if that was his girlfriend or what, but brought a girl. And my mom was like, Steven, can you come upstairs, please? And I came up like, what's going on, Mom? I won Halo. And she's like, yeah, it's great. Who's that girl? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. She just showed up because I didn't know her.
She's trash at Halo.
I really didn't know her.
I pwned her, noob.
You what, Steven? There will be no poning in my house.
I killed her like 5 times and teabagged her.
In the game.
Yeah, I remember being so like, it was one of the most embarrassing moments of my young childhood life.
You had to kick her out?
I was going to like, hi,
Jezebel.
my mom she says you gotta go.
Oh, that sucks.
It's like, why is your mom a bitch? I'm like,
yes.
Don't call my mom that.
Wait till you find out what she did to my Legos. You're next.
Yeah, she's gonna Lego you. Those are her words. She will break you into tiny pieces, and I won't have the instructions to build you back again.
No, I mean, I'm like Andy. As a younger man, as a child, I didn't have any girlfriends. I didn't have many male friends, and it was like early high school, freshman year, I was 15 or whatever, where I started hanging out with women, girls. And yeah, I don't think they ever wanted to sleep over, but they never had a problem with them coming over and stuff. Like, hey, what's up, Caitlin? What's up, Chrissy? You know what I mean?
Oh, my mom was like, what? Who's that? Like the Metal Gear, like, bring noise would go on.
And then once I had like girlfriends, even then they were like, well, use protection. Mom. No.
Doesn't feel as good.
Nerd. But yeah, so she shows Mike her tattoo when he asks what her name is. And he's like, oh shit, that's dope. You got a tattoo?
I've never seen a kid with a tattoo.
And that's got to be so crazy, right? And he's like, wait, that's your name? Because she points at herself. And I like the evolution of the explanation of this. Well, my name's Michael. People call me Mike. So I guess since you're 11, we'll call you L. And L's like, sure, sounds dope.
She loved it. She's like, yeah, do it.
But that lingering shot of her crying alone in the little like
The thunder.
fort. Yeah, like it's so devastating. It's so well done. And then we get the title card, of course. We cut to the Byers household. And this is like iconic Joyce Byers, just smoking that Winston Light 100, shivering at the breakfast table with Jonathan, like, mom, be careful with the poster, Well, I have to stay here, so you have to go. Remember this
Copy
amount
place
of money.
opens at 8. How many copies? How much is a copy?
How much even are copies?
You can't be like this, or whatever he says. Just like in general, all of this. Stop.
The town is a talking.
She's having ciggies for breakfast. She's not what Jaybird's cooking. Hopper arrives. She's been waiting for 6 hours for him to show up since the phone call. We find out, we actually hear it later, but she has called Flo and told him about the phone call from Will, and we need Hopper here right now. And he's like, "Oh, back off, lady. I was searching all the way to Cartersville. Did you find anything? Nothing. Literally nothing. I'm going to go to Benny's Burgers later.
They
and just
opened up
have
a new
good think about it.
Ponderosa in Cartersville. Found that out.
Buffet.
Gonna hit that buffet later.
Not relevant, but thought you should know. And he sees the phone and he's like, Storm barbecued this pretty good. And again, I love this too, because she's like, Storm? Isn't that weird? Yeah, it's pretty weird.
But it's like, how about a little trust here, Hopper? Like she hits him with his own phrase.
Yeah, he says, how about a little trust here? And she's adamant that it was Will on the other line. He said, Flo said you just heard breathing. First off, Flo, chatty Cathy.
Yeah.
Or
tell her she's a bitch.
very good at her job, takes down a lot of details, right?
But I know my son's breathing.
Wouldn't you know your daughter's breathing?
He thinks it was just crazies pranking her. And then she hits him with that. Yeah.
Steve, close your eyes.
Which one of us did that?
That was Andy.
Dang.
With a bullet.
I love that bit, though, because wouldn't you know your own daughter? And even she has this moment of, I've gone too far, but also I don't care right now. I'm worried about Will. And Hopper has to like collect himself. Like, she's very upset right now. She's very, do not choke a bitch. That's not cool. It is the 80s, but still not cool.
I'm going to go beat up Lonnie.
Still no word from Lonnie. But yeah, he has to like really restrain himself from saying something mean back. And he goes outside and takes his pills.
Nom, nom, nom.
His Tuinals, I believe Andy said.
Tuies.
His little Tuies. And Jonathan follows him out there and he's like, I should go to Lonnie's because if Will is there, he might get scared and see the cops. And he's very good at hiding.
Will's very fuck the police at this time.
Yeah, he's been listening to a lot of NWA.
He looks like a nice kid, and he's been going off really hard on the police recently. I don't know where he gets it.
But it's really good writing because the whole Will is good at hiding thing is important. And it's the whole reason that he's alive, right? And he's like, well, cops are good at finding. Are they?
Yeah.
Are they? You sure about that?
I mean,
you sure about that?
I mean, honestly, Hopper, look me in the eyes and tell me that Powell and Callahan, the only other cops, are good at finding.
I feel on this rewatch, I feel really bad for Hopper because he's got to canvass the town. He's got to do this by the book and properly. He's got so many things. And then there's a murder/suicide to investigate. And he really has no one to delegate to that he can trust.
Yeah.
So he's got to be in all these places at once. And Joyce is like, where the fuck have you been? And he's like, this town's police force is me and 2 people who should be in jail. It's me. I'm doing my best. And I'm high as fuck. I'll be honest.
Why are there 2 of you?
Joey, stop moving. You got any cigarettes? I know you do. But he tells Jonathan, no, stay with your mom. Hard punch because I'm a masculine man.
He's like,
she needs you.
I wanted to punch somebody and you're here.
There's that bit during that where I thought as Jaybird, I'd be like, ow.
Yeah, I wish they would have added that little bit of ADR. Like, you need to be here with your mom. Ew. Just a little whimper.
Like a Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh.
Anyway, we go back to Mike is destroying his breakfast.
They're Eggos. I get it.
I geeked out, but also it's because he wants to get back down to the basement with Elle. And we've all been there. Like Goldeneye just came out. You got it last night, but you got to sit with the family for breakfast or whatever. Like, bye. It's such a good kid thing. Like, the Duffers are really good.
Him stuffing the Eggos in his pockets. That's so funny.
Nancy's just like, what the, you little fucking demon. But yeah, I think the Duffers are just really good at remembering. Like they always say Spielberg was so good at directing kids, and he was. But I think the Duffers need more credit for just like remembering what it's like to be 12. I mean, the kid actors get deservedly a lot of credit because they're amazing, but the writing of kids is so good.
I forget who it was, but I was reading an interview with someone who was a part of the production team, and they specifically called out how both of the Duffer brothers were so good with the kids because they're able to explain what ultimately are like complex human emotions that they have to emote, but they're able to explain it in a way that makes sense to a 11-year-old. And like they're able to like remember how they would ingest the world as a child and explain it to, because if you like come up to Millie Bobby Brown, you're like, okay, so in this scene, you're really hurting because of the society and the patriarchy bearing down on you. Like, that's not going to mean anything to that kid.
What?
Yeah.
Or most adults.
It's true.
Yeah. Spielberg.
What's wrong with the patriarchy?
Spielberg was good at that too. I think, didn't he shoot E.T. largely chronologically so that it would like impact the children? Like, and he would go up to the little girl at the end and be like, okay, so you're not going to see any of these people anymore after today. All right, roll. And, and he's like, nice.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Isn't that what he did?
Yeah.
Poor kid. But yeah, I think that's so he's stuffing those Eggos in. He wants to get back to Elle. He hits back at Natalie with the human anatomy bit because he had seen Steve climbing the downspout the night before. And so they both have this like implicit truce immediately. Like, we both got dirt. Whatever you're doing is weird, but don't tell him I had Steve in the room last night. And I love that bit. Nothing. He goes downstairs. Elle has found his super comm. She's playing with the radio. We get the little bit about how he mostly talks to Lucas on it because he lives so close and it doesn't go very far as the signal. And he gives 11 an Eggo. The first of many Eggos 11 will enjoy. So that was huge for me.
First one's free.
Just a little taste.
I put my phone number on the back.
You want more of these? I know how to get them. I'm Mike the Plug Wheeler.
He tells her his doorbell plan and she's like, no. And he's like, are you in trouble? Are you in trouble with somebody? Who are you in trouble with? What, bad people? And she's like, yeah, the gun kind. Boom, boom. And he's like, whoa, boom, boom.
Finger gun?
That's insane. Finger guns?
They're going to put the gun right to my head?
Oh my God.
As a little kid, when I was watching this, I was trying to put my mind in Mike's place, where if I told a kid, like, okay, so we're going to get you help and you can leave and go to your place. And she's just like, no. Like the anxious panic little Steve would have felt like, what do you mean no?
What do you mean no? It's the only plan.
And then she pulled the gun move like, what is happening?
You're going to shoot me if I do this?
Holy shit.
Oh my God, I don't have any money.
I should not have brought you home.
I don't have any more Eggos.
I'm kidding about the plug thing. I'll get you as many Eggos as you want.
Don't shoot me. We cut to Dr. Brenner, who's getting word of the phone call that Joyce made to Flo. He listens to the actual call itself. He's like, is the boy still missing?
What about the boy?
Oh my goodness. Can he fight?
What's his weight class? We need a replacement for the featherweight division.
They call him the Plug.
No, that's Mike.
Oh, Mike the Plug Wheeler. Word on the street is that kid can go.
We cut back to the search party again. And don't worry, I do have a will call for you at the end of this episode.
Thank God.
Yeah, and this is just more serial killer Callahan shit. Chief and her screwed before, huh?
Yeah, or...
That's the only note I took from this section. Anything else we want to talk about?
And there's also Pal, who is just kind of like, Joyce Byers cracking, huh? She's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. And Hopper's like, dude, she just lost her kid, man. What
Bitches be tripping, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Hop, hit it. Ducks. Let's go.
Hop, nice. Like, these guys are totally not tonally on the level with everybody else with the missing kid. We cut to Nancy, who's studying with Barb. She's continuing her study, and Stephen and
Tommy H. and Carol?
Steve and Tommy interrupt. And he wants to tell him about the no parents party they're throwing on a Tuesday. Yeah, the club is going up. What do you mean?
We have like 3 beers and a cigarette. It's a party. Let's
right.
go.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
the greatest party of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. Tommy H did a thing. I never caught this before, but when they enter screen, the first thing you see of Tommy H is his finger
Go on.
at light speed going straight for Barb's ear and wet willying her as he passes. And I'm like, what the fuck is this person?
I fucking hate Tommy and Carol.
They're the worst.
But I didn't see the wet willy. That is atrocious.
That's how he wakes. That's how he greets people.
Have you ever been wet willied? I feel like that was really.
Yeah, I had older brothers, man.
I was going to say, I feel like that was already not cool by the time in the 90s, you know?
Oh, well, they were living their life.
Andy, were you wet willied?
Yeah, by my older brothers at some point.
They
I'm
were
sure.
so, and wedgies, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Noogies. None of that was cool in the 90s.
Yeah.
No, none of that ever happened to me.
I remember my brother gave me a wedgie so hard one time it ripped my underwear.
Is that what happened?
Dang.
But it's actually, strangely, it's one of the most proudful moments of my life because he did that to me and it hurt. And I started crying because it hurt. And I'm like, I had to be
17.
No.
So I had to go to work.
Yeah, I had to go to work and explain why I was crying and had broken underwear. No, I was like 5, I think. I was really little because it was before we moved. And he did that. And I forget what happened because he did it. And then he like fell over for some reason. And I'm crying and I'm on all 4s on the ground crying. And he had fallen on the ground like laughing. And I looked up and because I'm a dinosaur kid, I'm like, what would a triceratops do?
Bit him.
And I ran it in full speed and headbutt him in the taint.
I'll show him.
like ramming speed right into his taint, which I guess also hit his balls, and he started crying because it hurt his nuts.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, motherfucker. And like, I spit on him as I walked away. No, I didn't do that.
It was tears.
How about this? My face in your ass.
That's what I was going to say. I got a match for you. Yeah, man. That's Dino Kid.
Yeah.
Dino
Brian.
DNA. And they're talking about the party. Nancy's really reluctant and Barb's like, definitely not, right? But they're trying to convince them. And then they see Jonathan hanging up his missing poster.
So sad.
And Tommy's immediately like, look at this fucking loser. Oh, God. Got a missing brother. What a dork.
Oh, I'm so sad. My brother's missing.
Like, what is wrong with this kid? And then Tommy's like, he probably killed him. And Nancy's like, should we go talk to him? And they're like, why would we do that? But Nancy goes to speak to him kindly. Yeah. Hey, it's going to be okay. He's a really smart kid. But hey, I got to go chemistry. Am I right?
And Jonathan's like, I don't go to school here.
I actually love that even though all of this drama is going on in his life, they do give Jonathan time, which I think is realistic to be like, oh, hey, like he's still got a crush on Nancy. He's still like a human being with his own wants and desires and dreams. And it's just, it sneaks through the cracks of this tragedy occasionally. And I think that that's real and I like it. Then there's this announcement in the background. You can hear the intercom. There will be an assembly tonight on the football field in support of Will Byers.
At 8 p.m. We did not invite the family.
That would be a real drag.
Yeah. Uncouth.
Dustin and Lucas notice in class that Mike is late. His desk is empty. And they're like, oh my God, he's in so much trouble. He got busted for letting a girl sleep over. Do you think she was naked? No.
Miss Wheeler's going to tell my parents.
No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't snitch like that. I don't know. Which is very kid-like too. I'm just worried about myself here. Is this going to affect me? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Gonna take away my Nintendo.
Doesn't matter, Lucas says. At least the freak will be back in the loony bin. We cut to Mike, who has skipped school. He waits for Karen to drive by with baby Holly. She needs more beers, I assume. And
baby Holly wants Schlitz. Schlitz beer.
And so he rides back to his house on his bike, and he's given Elle the tour. Shows her his impressive living room, 22-inch TV.
10 whole times bigger than Dustin's TV.
I was rewatching this. My son was doing a rewatch a couple of weeks ago. So I saw this part of the episode as he was watching it. And he was like watching it on my 65-inch TV. And he was like, Dad, how big is this TV? And I was like, it's 65. And he was like, whoa. And I was like, so I paused it. I sat down. I was like, yeah. So 22, that's pretty big. Biggest you would ever see back then was 32, which is about this big. I had a 13, and he's just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Pores.
How did you live?
Yeah, it's wild.
I was listening to our old coverage to pull clips, and I didn't pull this clip, but it made me laugh because when he's like, this is 22 inches, it's 10 times bigger than Dustin's. Kit hops in, he's like, so I guess Dustin's is 2 inches? Or something like that, which is really funny.
Did some quick math,
Teeny tiny little TVs.
But now we watch, especially Andy, like we watch TV on our phones. It's not super crazy, But I remember my dad had the 13-inch in his room, and I had, I think, a 27-inch in my bedroom, and then we had a 32 in the living room. But I could only get UPN on my dad's 13-inch for some reason on the bunny ears.
Ooh.
So I had
R.I.P. UPN.
I could only watch SmackDown on the 13-inch. Not a good picture.
They have the built-in VCR.
It did.
Nice.
Probably. No, I don't think those were a thing yet.
Oh, no?
I don't think so. At least not in Poresville.
I had one with a built-in VCR.
That didn't trickle down yet,
The Reaganomics, it hadn't worked out for you guys yet.
But yeah, he shows her. She looks at his family photos. I like how she sees Nancy and she says, pretty. And he's like, I mean, I guess.
I mean, she's a dumb girl, sure.
Yeah, kind of a fucking goblin if you ask me. But because, siblings hate each other.
Yeah.
And then she's amazed by the lazy boy. And I remember distinctly how much Andy likes this scene.
I love it.
He grew up with a lazy boy, and you play with him like that. You definitely do that move,
Now, in hindsight, I don't know if ours was actually Lazy Boy.
Yeah, the off-brand.
How fucking expensive those things are.
Lazy dude.
We had a recliner for sure. I also love the little note. This is where my dad sleeps. So it's like, oh, that's what the family dynamic is like in the buyers or what is their last name? Wheeler household.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they haven't had sex since 9 months before Holly was born. Guaranteed.
And also before that, when Steve tells Nancy about the party, he's like, party later, my mom is going too because she doesn't trust him. So it's like all these families are like
broken.
Yeah, seriously.
But they're all trying to keep up this facade of
little hints
perfect nuclear family in America, right?
Yeah.
And just the way 11, when they pop the back of the lazy boy out and they recline, and
it's
her
so
face is so
sweet.
pure and so much joy in that moment.
It's the first little bit of joy we get, except for that first bite of Eggo, But even that was subtle. And we cut to Jonathan driving to see Lonnie, we find out, but he hears the Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go, on the radio, which takes him back to this flashback of him showing Will the Clash. And Joyce is in the background fighting on the phone with Lonnie because he failed to pick them up for the baseball game. This is a great little scene where Jonathan tells
for
Will.
his birthday, wasn't it? Like he was supposed to take him to a baseball game for his birthday.
Like, do you even like baseball? He's like, I mean, he can be fun sometimes. He's like, you don't have to pretend to like baseball. You shouldn't like things because people tell you you're supposed to.
Jay Bird hitting us with truths.
Which I think is a great big brother moment, but also like so important subtext for Will's character, I think. We'll get to that in later seasons, but great scene.
And it's so interesting the difference between the relationship that, say, Jay Bird and Will have as siblings as opposed to like Nancy and Mike, right? There's still that love, I think you can tell, but Nancy and Mike are the quintessential like siblings that bicker. But Jonathan is much more like, this is my little brother. He's from a young age, he was able to see that his dad doesn't have the family.
They're more trauma bonded. And I think Nancy and Will and Mike have that kind of a privileged relationship.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
In that way.
And he's giving him the good taste. He's like, listen to this great music, man. This is gonna change your life. And it's like, fuck yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, the Smiths, television.
Joy Division. What else is on that tape?
All the Asians. It's like Almost Famous, Light a candle, listen to Tommy.
Listen to Tommy
this will
with the
set you
candle.
free.
Just thinking of that.
Andy said that in the first episode we reviewed this.
Really?
Yeah, I remember Andy saying, "Light a candle, it'll change." And I didn't connect.
You hadn't seen Almost Famous.
I hadn't seen Almost Famous, and now that I see it, I still didn't connect it until you just said it.
You got to watch it 20 more times. We cut to Joyce showing up at the store where she works, and she's not there to work. That fucking guy, Donald. Oh, I called Jeffrey and I didn't know you were coming. Yeah, I'm not.
It's great. We're really busy, actually.
Yeah, grab an apron. She just needs a new phone, and the phone's going to be $22, which is like $60 nowadays, right? Which would still would not buy you anything. And she's like, look, I'm going to need an advance. I don't have any money. Oh, of course. Actually, I'm going to need 2 weeks advance. And he hesitates like, I got to pay Jeffrey for the overtime. Donald, I've been here. Listen to this. I've never been. Steve's probably, no, Andy's a great employee. I'm the least good employee here for sure. But she says, I've been here 10 years. Have I ever called in sick or missed a shift? Oh, yeah. I'm missing hella shifts in the first year. At least 3.
How healthy is Joyce?
I've worked Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving. Oh, my goodness.
Been there.
All that 10 years straight, right? I need 2 weeks advance. I need the phone. And he's like, of course. Okay.
You're right.
And a pack of Camels.
Joyce, I draw the line at Camels.
Not the 100s. Not the 100s.
I'll give you the Virginia Slims, and that's it.
I'll tell you what. I'll bum you a
cigarette brand?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Canonically bad cigarette. But the Hawkins lab shows up while she's out there to scan Joyce's house. Because remember, they listened to her phone call. Coast is clear, Dr. B. And there's some oozing in the shed they discover. Go ahead.
I just said dope. Like he was just waiting for the call. All right, cool.
There's a lot of indistinct squelching going on in the shed.
That's right.
This doesn't look like caulk on the back of the shed.
I know caulk when I see it. This is not it.
Big fan of caulk.
We cut to Mike, who's now teaching 11 about Yoda and his dinosaur Rory. It's got a speaker inside.
I never latched onto this line before, but I was dying. I think I played it back like twice. Just him. This is my dinosaur Rory.
Because it's roaring.
I know. But the way he says it, the pun doesn't quite come through. He says like Rory, like the name Rory. Like,
or he likes the more obscure Culkin brother.
Rory Culkin.
Big fan.
Yeah, huge fan. This is my dinosaur Rory.
He shows her, this is also really subtle comedy. Or no, maybe it's not that subtle, but I think it's fucking amazing. Because he's like, here's our science fair trophies. We get first every year. Except for last year, we got third, but Mr. Clark said it was totally political. I just like the idea that he's probably only been to the science fair like 3 times.
Tops.
We always get first, except for last year. So like most of a large percentage of the time you don't.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. But she sees Will in the photo and she points to it. Mike clocks that. He's like, yo, you know Will? Will's my dude. Will's missing. Do you know where Will is?
You know Will the Wise?
That's right. That's
and
right.
She does finger guns again. He's like, what is going on?
Stop shooting everyone.
Did you kill
Put
Will?
that thing away. No weapons in there. My family lives here. Karen comes home with Holly and some macaroni.
Hell
and some
yeah.
Schlitz.
And I assume a bunch of slits for Holly in her cup or sippy.
If Holly ain't drinking Schlitz, she's had a beer.
And he tries to get Elle to hide. He's like, come on. But he runs downstairs right into his mom. And Holly pushes Elle back upstairs and gives himself away because she can hear the stomping and the running.
It's still hilarious, like how
Ted?
There are obviously 2 children running around. Ted, man who's never ran. Is that you?
I didn't know you were so swift.
You don't even go upstairs because as we established, you sleep in the living room.
That's right. You can't make it up those steps. What'd I do? He tries to get Elle to hide in the closet. And this is, again, like she gets PTSD. And she's like, no more locked doors. And he's like, I didn't mean to put a Friday After Next reference in there. I felt bad about it. But he's like, no, I promise. And he tells her the definition of promise. And she's like, okay. And then she panics while she's in there. And that takes her back to a memory of being abused at the lab. And they're throwing her in this tiny room. Papa. And it's honestly.
Fievel. Papa.
It's heartbreaking.
Is this the first use of Papa that we get?
I think so.
You are like Papa. That's one of the best quotes of all time. And we cut to Mike telling his mom he's sick. And we've all been there. My mom was super about that life. I could be like, I farted. And she'd be like, no school. I'll tell your dad. Like I was super spoiled in that way. Especially once they took her off the lithium because of the cancer. I'd be like, I need cocaine. And she'd be like, I'll tell your dad. But I still resonated with this, like the whole, you go to mom and you're obviously faking sick and you got to give it a shot. I don't know. You guys probably don't either because of the time frame of when we were born, but I would never be allowed to just take myself off to school and then be able to sneak back home. Because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I guess Karen might be too.
I think Karen is. She just went out for
some beer
or something. Yeah,
for Holly.
Holly's beer run.
But have you guys ever skipped school in this way?
Maybe because I walked to school.
Yeah, you could have.
I can't remember, but I definitely could have.
We did as teen. I know I did it with you.
Yeah,
in high school.
Okay, yeah.
We
Just
would
hang out in the woods,
smoke weed in the woods, and scope out the house, see if Linda was home.
But when we were in like middle school,
no, definitely not. Yeah. You ever skip school?
Definitely not like this. I played hooky for sure, but like,
oh, you called it hooky?
Mm-hmm, I did. Mm-hmm. I'll be hookying all over the place
just to play Halo.
No, man. What you did is you played hooky. You stayed on the couch because, like, my mom had a rule: like, if you're too sick to go to school, you're too sick to play video games,
which is factually incorrect.
Very incorrect. So what I would do is I would just watch like The Price is Right, The People's Court, Jerry Springer.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you
Judge
have
Judy,
to resort to watching kids that are too young to go to school TV. So you'd be watching Face on Nickelodeon.
Bananas in Pajamas.
Yeah, fucking Big Comfy Couch. I'm like 13, high as fuck, watching Big Comfy Couch. Like, this sucks, dude.
I should have gone to school.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Bear in the Big
Oh, he found a clue. Fucking, it's right there, dude. It is right there.
Kids are dumb.
Yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking about that. Any hoozle. But I love the scene. Honestly, made me cry a little bit. I don't know that I had this perspective last time. I may have, but the scene where she's like, "Mike, it's fine. I get it. Like you're sad about Will. You know what I mean? Like that's what she reads into him skipping school.
You got to be traumatized by that.
And she's so sympathetic to that. And I thought that was like such a good mom moment. And even though it's played for comedy, like I want you to feel like you can talk to me. Wait, is someone else here? No, and so it's immediate, like kind of a joke because he lies to her immediately after she says that. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I thought it was very endearing that she was like, your friend's missing. I get it. Like, stay home. Mm-hmm. Do whatever kids do in the 80s when they stay home. Probably nothing. You got no video games.
Go play with Rory.
Yeah. Whatever.
Rory at?
Yeah, that's way cooler than going to school, you fucking dork. Like we had Nintendo 64. Like there was definitely no reason to ever go to school. What's he going to do? Read? But then, yeah, she hears the knocking. He lies about it. And then we cut to, he finds Elle crying in the closet. And he's like, whoa, you're being pretty dramatic. Do you hate my clothes? What's wrong with my clothes?
They smell.
And he's like, are you okay? Are you sure? And this is a very touching moment where she's like, yeah, I'm okay. Promise. It's the first time in her life where somebody told her something bad was not going to happen to her. And then it didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can see that on her face. Like, this is a good sensation.
Yeah.
Belly full of Eggos. He did come back. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to play with that dinosaur named Rory in a minute.
Yeah. Let's get back to
that
Rory.
looked great. We skipped over that, but I'm put a pin in that.
It has a what in it? A speaker, you say?
Is it super cool?
I just was fascinated by that because the idea, he was selling it to her like the idea of speakers being in action figures was new, and it probably was. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, it roars. Like, oh shit, for real? Now you walk through Target, everything says try me, and it's like, whatever, dude. It doesn't move. That's fucking stupid.
If you held Rory out to a kid today and said, check this out, it also roars, they'd be like, I'm playing Switch. Get away from me.
Does it have generative AI?
Yeah. What? What in the Happy Meal is this? Get the fuck away from me, kid.
Is that a toy line from a famous YouTuber? Don't care.
Joyce gets home with her new phone and she plugs it in and just sits and waits with it. She like scoots the chair so she can just sit there and stare at the phone in case Will calls again.
Poor thing.
Heartbreaking. Somebody get her a cordless. Donald?
Come on, Donald.
They don't have cordless yet, do they?
Gave her the cheap one.
And we cut to the cops. They're all at the canyon. We find out about George, who definitely lied about getting $10 and jumping off this cliff. Oh, no, it'd be like hitting fucking concrete.
Callahan's like, nah.
Yeah. I love how there's this
Nah.
long beat where he like looks at the distance and he's just like, no, do your own research, Hopper. Do your own research.
Do your own research. I trust George Burns or whatever his name was.
Hopper gets a call then that he needs to get over to Benny's immediately. Flo is like, we got tea, piping hot. Get over to Benny's. So Hopper and the doofuses find Benny with a bullet wound in his fucking head and a bunch of flies. And Callahan can only think to say, you got murder, suicide, missing kids. Must feel like a big city cop again. Nux. This is dope, right? We're not bored. We're not bored.
You've been waiting for this your whole life, right, Hopper?
And I love this retort. Hopper says, well, it's mostly strangers I dealt with. Benny was my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good line.
They were bros.
God, I want to see the Benny and Hopper show. Jonathan shows up to Lonnie's. So he drove all the way to Indianapolis. And fucking Cynthia answers the door.
Cynthia.
Which Cynthia is fine until the end of the scene. We'll get there in a second. And he barges past her. Lonnie comes out like he's going to tackle a burglar, realizes it's Jonathan, tries to hug him. He's like, get off of me, dude. It's my oldest. Proud of him. Told him how to do home invasions. He's doing good.
He's doing great.
We cut to Lucas and Dustin finding out that Elle is still at the Wheeler house. They are beside themselves. This was not
Lucas
the plan.
is apoplectic.
He's pissed. And he's like, guys, she said, we're going to be in danger, guys. We have to figure this out. Gun danger.
Gun danger. She did this thing.
Danger.
Lucas does not like guns pointed at him. Mm-hmm. He slaps that shit away immediately. Don't fucking joke about that, Mike. Is that loaded?
You don't point those things at a friend.
Come on, man.
First rule of gun safety.
Point it at the ground. Don't dry fire.
But is it a coincidence, guys, that we found her on Mirkwood where Will was last seen and she has seen Will?
Yeah, she pointed at him, not with a gun, with her actual finger.
But then the gun came out later.
It did.
Dustin should have said, that's exactly what I said last night.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. And then Lucas is like, no, we're telling your mom immediately. But Elle keeps shutting the door on him with her mind.
What?
With mind bullets. It's telekinesis, Holmes. And then she locks the door. No. With her nose all bloody. Iconic.
So cool. There's one little bit that makes me laugh where, because Mike has had the whole day with her. He's way past where the other two boys are at in terms of information. And so she's like, yeah, 11 has seen Will. And Luke's like, wait, her name's 11?
That's ridiculous. It's absurd.
It's dumb.
Yep. She's got the bloody nose, though. That's so cool.
If they wanted to be realistic, the boys should have been like, wait, you skipped school? No way.
No way, you're so cool.
What'd you do, play with Roy all day? That's awesome.
Dude, where is he? I want to turn. But how awesome is that the first time that door slams and you're like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah. That's so good, dude. It's such a good, like, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of the first time I watched this, and I was like, yes. And then she's all obviously doing cocaine all the time. She needs to be partying with Holly.
Again, a young Steve, if I brought home another kid and they said no and then used their mind to shut and lock the door and their nose is bleeding, my first reaction would be, Mom, get in here.
For sure.
Help.
Carol, there's a girl in the house.
Yeah,
Code red.
you're toast. Wait till my mom gets here. She hates girls. We cut to Lonnie showing Jonathan his new car. Very unconcerned about missing sons. And
he doesn't give a shit.
Jonathan's checking the trunk to make sure there's no Will. The cops have already been there. You want to check up my ass too? Well, he's not in there. Don't do it.
Figured your mom just forgot where he was.
He's never even called Joyce back to tell him that Will is in fact not there. To tell her that Will is not there, right?
Dick. But hey, while you're here, you should like come out here to the city where people are like real.
People are more real here,
More
you know?
real, you know?
Oh, it's dope. There's so many like corner stores for cigarettes and stuff.
Have you ever heard of gelato? They're popping up everywhere.
Oh, so good. They got this new thing called Froyo.
We got a new Ponderosa.
Yeah. It's closest one since Cartersville.
Dude, soft serve ice cream, like all the toppings. Ponderosa's dope. Only in the city, my man.
You ever seen a Choco fountain? Bet you haven't. Bet you fucking haven't,
You
dude.
haven't lived until you see a Choco fountain.
Jonathan angrily leaves, gives him a missing poster of Will, and says, just in case you forgot what he looked like.
Damn.
And then Cynthia comes out. He's cute. Maybe I should trade you in for a younger model. It's not weird at all.
Oh, fuck that kid. Fucking creep.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopper. We cut to Hopper, who's talking to like Benny's best customer. We saw him in the scene where 11 was there.
Mr. Basket.
Yeah, Mr. Basket. And he tells him about the kid stealing fries in the back, some boy. And Hopper immediately thinks it's Will. So he's like, wait, describe him.
There's a kid. The way he says kid there, I love that so much because he's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Wait. No, and the guy knows. No, it wasn't Lonnie's boy.
That's Lonnie's kid, not Joyce's kid, the one who raises
Well,
it.
forget the haircut. What if he shaved his head? Would he look like that? I mean, could be. Could be, right?
Get a good look at him.
And then Nancy is trying to convince Barb to go to the party. We see the Wheelers at dinner. It's awkward because all the Lucas and Dustin are there.
I had 2 bologna sandwiches for lunch.
I don't know why. Because they're not touching their meatloaf. But Nancy's sucking up because she wants to ask about going out. Oh, this is delicious, Mother. I love this meatloaf.
Mommy.
It's so great. But she's like, oh, by the way, there's an assembly for Will tonight at the football field. I need to go to that. It'd be weird if I wasn't there.
Anyone who's anyone in Hawkins is going to be there.
Well,
it's the social event of the century at
you
Hawkins.
boys should go too. No. And then 11 just walks by in the background and Dustin can only think to slam his hands on the table. Sorry.
Spasm.
And Holly's over there. She's about to pass out. She's 6 schlitzes deep over there. Like,
Holly's was like, this is why I drink.
It's okay, honey. Drink your beer.
Did she see 11 and can't verbalize it?
Probably.
That's the way I read it this time. She's like,
who is, she like looks at her sippy cup of beer and pushes it away.
It's one of those.
I need to quit drinking.
We cut to Callahan yapping about Will stealing food. Why would he steal food from Benny? Benny's a good guy. I'm going to beat his ass when I see him.
I hope we fight him so I can beat his ass.
Which finally pisses Hop off because they're out at another search party. He's like, I fucking hate this guy, dude. But Mr. Clark found something in the pipe. What did he find?
A little piece of cloth.
Yeah, it looks
like
like
her hospital gown.
It would have come from 11's gown.
Yeah. And
I forgot that Mr. Clark was the one that found it. So that was like, oh, dude, he's so good.
Oh, he's a good detective. He should be on the force.
Seriously, can you like fire Callahan and hire Clark, Mr. Clark?
At least somebody with some kind of empathy.
He's got the mustache.
Yeah, and Powell, I think, is like, there ain't no way a kid would have gone in there.
What do you mean? It's like
Kid would have
perfectly.
1,000,000% gone in there.
That's right. That would have been awesome.
I love these police officers who, whenever they're confronted with evidence of anything, like,
Nope.
ain't no way that happened.
Let's just dismiss this out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And Hopper says he would have if he was scared enough. The pipe leads to the lab.
He also knows that Will is good at hiding. So
We do. He learned that earlier. Even though he was angry at the time, he's processed it since. And cops are good at finding. He looks right at Powell.
and then Powell went,
We are?
Why are you looking at me?
Am I a cop?
We cut to the kids who are bringing Elle some meatloaf. And I didn't like meatloaf as a kid. I can imagine Elle didn't like that either.
I didn't either. I kind of still don't.
A little bit of a downgrade from the Eggos.
My wife made some fucking bomb ass meatloaf the other day.
Really?
But I was fighting her on it. Not literally, but I was like, I don't like meatloaf.
She's trying to feed you. You're like, no.
But I was like, I don't like meatloaf. Don't cook that. And she was like, we talk about this every time. I know you hated your mom's meatloaf. It's good. And it was.
Carissa.
Some mashed potatoes with garlic.
Hell
some
yeah.
meatloaf, some corn. Oh my goodness. It was.
You're
I'm so
selling me on
hungry
it.
right now, dude.
Should we order food?
Probably should. Yeah. But anyway, he says, Dustin says, yes, sorry. We would never have upset you if we knew you had superpowers. That's
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then they have to explain the definition of friend, which Lucas is very upset to have to do.
Is she serious? I love that.
It's like a spit swear with spit. Well, that's another thing that wasn't cool by the time I was growing up in the 90s, right? You didn't spit swear. That's fucking weird.
I didn't do that.
I don't think it's cool in this moment because when he explains it and spits his hand and grabs Dustin's hand, I love how you can see Dustin like, and he's like wiping it off in the background.
Well, he's like, there's no call for a full spit swear at this moment.
That's
so this
true.
is like not worth it. You
Sir,
know?
this is not protocol.
Should have just described it to her. But yeah, Mike says friends tell each other things that parents don't know.
Because parents just don't understand.
And girls just want to have fun. There's so many things I can teach you. Nancy and Barb pull up to the party, but they can't park in the driveway because the neighbors are going to snitch. So they have to park like 3 blocks away. And Barb's like, come on, what is this shit? We have to walk?
What neighbors?
I don't want to go. This is awful. He just wants to bang you. Oh, no, he does not.
Probably going to be a big orgy.
Oh my, that's gross. I should take my shirt off. He
Is
just
that a
wants
new
to-
bra?
Yeah, I love that bit. Because she's like, yeah, he's totally not planning on sleeping with him. Did you put a new bra on? Is that a new bra? No.
No.
Yeah, she totally plans on that bra being seen. There's certain underwear you wear when you know people are going to see them.
It's true.
I'm wearing them right now.
Unless you're a dude, you're just like, no skid marks, good to go.
Only a couple of holes.
The waistband just a little frayed.
Good to go. We are terrible creatures. Steve answers the door epically. He's got the big rich double doors.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, ladies.
Welcome to the party. Hop is there with Sandra. There's a woman in his bed at night.
Who is that?
Yeah, he goes out at night. I don't like Sandra.
I don't either.
He tries to be emotionally available and she's not feeling it. He's like, you ever feel cursed? Last person to go missing was in the summer of 1923. The last suicide was in the fall of 1961. It's cold. When was the last person to be fucking cold?
When's the last time someone froze to death? Get in here.
And he's like, you know what? I don't like you very much.
Sandra.
The two and alls.
There won't be a second date.
I sleep with you because you sell me two and alls. I'll be honest. And I'm going to arrest you for that one day.
Is she the is she the pharmacist? Because don't we like run into Sandra in a later season or episode?
No, there's a later episode where he,
The
librarian
librarian.
is like, you never
Librarian.
called me. So I think Sandra is the librarian,
Okay.
not a pharmacist. No. And we cut back to the weirdo, as Lucas calls her, is doing something with their D&D board. And it's like, so she's trying to explain with her limited vocabulary where Will is and how she's seen him before. And this is where she knocks all the pieces on the board over. She picks up Will the Wise and she knows that it's his figure.
She knows it's him.
And Dustin's like, whoa. She flips the board over and puts Will, quote unquote, on it. And
On
they're
the
like,
upside down board.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And she says, hiding. From what? The bad people with the guns and the gats? And she's like, no. And then she slams the Demogorgon piece down. And I love that this is what makes Dustin so anxious. Like, oh, we got a fucking demo G.
Demogorgon?
Oh my God, this is worse than I
The
thought.
D to the G to the on?
I love his bit where he holds the sides of his head like, oh my God, it's the fucking Demogorgon.
That's the worst thing it could be. I
Dude.
was hoping it was just troglodytes.
I got goosebumps when she slammed the piece down on the board and then the synth that boom, 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 boom kicks
Oh,
in.
I love that fucking score, dude.
So cool.
Jonathan goes into the woods where Will went missing to take photos. And I love this bit. Like, this happens a lot in crime thrillers, like Silence of the Lamb type movies. They don't do it enough anymore. It happens a lot in Seven. Like and like the frame of the movie is the still photo for a brief second.
That's
I
so cool.
love that move. And that's happening. And I'm so excited about it. And this evolves quickly. And I don't want to be too defensive of Jonathan because that makes me a creep, because Jonathan is 1,000% a creep. But the only reason he goes there is because he hears a woman scream and he thinks they're in trouble and he's going to help. Then he sees that it's just Carol shrieking about being thrown into the pool. And he sees Nancy's there. He has a huge crush on Nancy. He hasn't been invited to this party. I get it. We're all at some level voyeurs. We find it fascinating. That's why reality TV is so fucking fascinating. And you're all judging.
You're voyeuring us right now. You.
Oh, no, I
Me?
wouldn't say that.
You're voyeuring us.
He's talking,
Voyeuring
he's
me.
talking to the, I thought you were talking to Andy too. And I was
Oh,
like,
no, sorry, Andy. I was pointing to the camera.
Andy's part of the show. I would say like the reason Love Island is such a popular show is because this is an innate human thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But he does take it too far, and the editing makes it even worse because it cuts to them inside for a long time and cuts back out. And he's just like, he's like, fuck, dude, you're still, I get like the curiosity thing. It's the camera that makes it an extra level.
Yeah.
But he does.
But when she's upstairs, yeah, like you said, it's been a while. When she's upstairs in Steve's room and he's
Changing,
still,
yeah.
it's like,
That's
okay.
where it's like, dude. But also they do take a
Also, we commented on this forever ago, but it is funny that like Steve's house is literally right where Will was abducted.
Right.
And it's right next to the lab as well.
Yeah.
But it does take a moment to like, once they start having sex, he like lowers the camera and looks at Barb. You know what I mean? Like it's creepy as fuck.
He's like, oh,
Okay, what are you doing?
But it's so important that he took those photos so that they can fight with him about it, break the camera, drop the photos, and have Nancy see Barb's photo. Like that's the whole reason for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's good. It's good writing.
and honestly, that photo of Barb sitting on the diving
Slay.
board,
Slay.
like what a great, that could win
a good
some
shot.
photography competitions. Just saying.
But yeah, so at first though, he's just watching Steve shotguns a beer, then Nancy shotguns a beer.
You're in cliche Steve Harrington.
But I could do it. What is this Schlitz? I only drink Schlitz. Holly would be so mad if I drank anything else.
There's this baby that keeps coming over and harassing us.
She's really mean.
Give me juicy. And you just throw a Schlitz can at her and she runs away.
Barb, you buzzkill. You want to try?
Yeah, she encourages Barb to try. And I feel so bad for Barb because
I
she's
know.
like, she wants to shotgun the beer and like live her life a little bit. And she cuts her fucking hand immediately.
And we've all been there. And like you totally eat shit at a party, try to do something cool, doesn't work out, and you're like, God, I knew it. I am a piece of shit. Fuck.
But then when she leaves to go, clean up the wound, everyone just like, oh yeah, the party can start again.
They all jump in the pool.
Fifth wheel's gone.
That's right. They all jump in the pool, get pushed in, have a good old time. We cut to Joyce, who's now asleep in her chair with the phone, and then it rings. And again, there's muffled breathing on the other side. Will, is that you? Will.
Mom?
Oh, and she actually hears him say mom, but the phone gets cooked again. The lights are all flickering. It's so heartbreaking. She has a complete fucking meltdown, and it's such a good performance.
Damn you, Donald, and this piece of shit phone.
I knew you sold me the janky one. I wanted the hamburger one. And
Oh, hell yeah.
the lights start to blink and they lead her down the hallway to Will's bedroom. And then the Clash turns on the radio. And of course, the lyrics are so apropos to what Will's going through.
Should I stay or should I go now?
If I stay, there will be trouble. Or whatever. If I go, there will be trouble. But if I stay,
There will be double.
be fucking double, dude. That's worse. It's twice the trouble.
Double trouble.
And then everything starts blinking in there. And then it looks like something starts coming through the fucking wall. And she's like, ah!
That was not there.
She runs out to her car, starts to start it. Classic 80s. The keys are in the visor move. Nobody's going to steal this. Safe town. And then the music comes back on. The lights are blinking again. And she starts to think, no, I'm scared. But that's my son in there in some form. That's my boy. So she stays. And therefore, the trouble is double. Steve
Yes.
and everybody are drying off. They've all got towels. They're out of the pool now. And he's like, Nancy, you need some dry clothes. Don't worry. I keep teen girl clothes.
Yeah.
Let's go. What's the thing here? What's the plan?
I mean, he is nonchalantly like, hey, come check out my Lego collection.
Oh, it's a sex move. I know that that's his actual plan, but I'm just saying, what if she wasn't down to sex? Where are these clothes at? And he's like, I just got size 34 jeans and a Star Wars t-shirt.
You're going to be swimming in these clothes.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Barb's like, dude, Nancy, what are you doing? You're going to go change upstairs. This is not the plan. You told me to come in here to cock block, and that's what I'm going to do, darn it. And she's like, no, plan B, you don't cock block. I'm good. Go home.
Barb.
What do you mean go ahead and go home? Nancy, I told you I'm fine.
So sad.
We all have partners to have sex with here. You don't. I think you should leave. It'll be awkward for you. There's no cuck chair.
I'm looking out for you, Barb.
That's right. I don't want you to be all sitting there lonely. Jaybird's still out there taking pictures.
They're going to open up a window.
I was trying to defend you, man. And
I know that's Steve's window. I know it's going to open up.
Then Nancy changes with Steve in the room. Give me some privacy. Wait, turn around. And he's like, God damn. Shut up. Stupid.
Shut up, Steve.
I'm not that banging.
Shut up. Stop.
And then Jonathan's like,
Is that a
okay,
new bra?
I've got enough shots of the brawl. Yeah, Jonathan's out there.
The
Like,
tag's still on it.
yeah, Jonathan's out there. Like, is that a new bra?
Whoa.
And then he starts taking pictures of Barb sitting on the diving board. And he leaves when the lights go out, which is always indicative of a Demogorgon arrival.
Yeah, doesn't he like look down and look back up? Oh, what?
He's changing his film.
I like the idea that he can only leave now because A, he's out. All 26 photos have been taken. B, the lights are off. I can't see shit anyway. I'm out of here.
Barb's really depressing me out there.
Take your shirt off.
Just from the woods.
She's like, what the
Wait, what?
boring. But yeah, she bleeds into the water, which is what summons the Demogorgon. But we don't really know much about the Demogorgon the first time we're watching this. So it's just like this fucking monster, right? Like, and there's a little bit of a Barb shriek. She screams and she's just gone. And the lights come back on. The pool's empty.
Question for you guys.
Oh, okay. This is where's the scene that,
This is the scene because in my brain pan, I remember it being she hears the monster, looks behind her, screams, cuts to the pool being gone, right? Or the lights being
okay.
But in this most recent watch, she turns around and then there's a shot of the Demogorgon's mouth like in all completely open, going, like in her face. And then it cuts to the lights being. So
I don't even see that on this watch, I don't think.
like, so in my mind, I'm like, did they fucking add a shot of the, because I don't remember getting a good look at the Demogorgon in any sort of way other than silhouette for a long time.
I might have been taking notes, but I didn't even see that last night. Like it was just like a quick frame of something is what I saw.
I mean, it's there for sure. I don't know. I can't remember if it was there or not, to be honest.
And, you know, we're all human. Memory is not perfect. But I swear when that popped up, I was like, I don't remember seeing the Demogorgon in this shot. But I don't know.
Somewhere I have a copy of season 1 on Blu-ray.
Wouldn't it have, was our recap not thorough enough for you to figure this out by listening to our old episode?
I did, but it sounds like we didn't mention it being there. And the Duffers had said that if you're really interested in seeing what they changed, that you should reference the original Blu-ray release of the
Really?
season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the like DVD that looks like a VHS. I think I bought Andy
You
one,
bought me a copy, yeah.
but I wouldn't have clocked that as something different.
Again, maybe it's my memory playing tricks on me, but like that's what caused me to Google search, did they change stuff? And then I saw that article, like, oh fuck, did they? Now, so listener, if you remember,
right.
let us know what you think, because I'm genuinely very fascinated by this.
streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Join the conversation. Is it different or is it not? That's what we're here to find out. Let's get into our chocolate puddings, Easter Eggos, 11 out of 10s, Into the Ninas, and the MadLib answers after a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors.
What's up, Stream Fiends? July is in full swing, you know, the heart of summer. It's the time of year for late night hangouts, road trips, cold drinks, and binge watching marathons with absolutely zero guilt. But we also want to take a moment to celebrate something else that makes this season shine, and that is our incredible super patrons. These are the folks who support us at the $25 or more tier each month on Patreon, and thanks to them, we get to keep doing what we love doing, and that's bringing you all this crazy content. So thank you to John Collins, Dara Cosby, Hannah Zito, Sun-Loving Mortal, Carrie Sink, Sander Barbarian, Daniel Pack, Phil S., Nice Guy Eddie, The Great Serpent, Jordan Garvin, Albus Stinkpot, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Jim E., Lady Trashley, Sean Myers, Just Liz Calabria, Brett X, E. Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Bloth Pum, AK Ashley Ray, Jay Rich, Upside Down Canuck, Big Butthorn, Josh Stitch, Jer, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elbander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, Trisha Bueller, Alex G, Suzanne Rode, Jadinklage Morgoon, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, That Brenda, Aaron Armstrong, Hootie Hoo, Casey McCain, and of course, Enza. Thank you all so much from the bottom of our hearts. And with that, let's get back to the episode.
And we're back. It's time to nominate our top 3 favorite moments of this episode. The chocolate pudding. We found the chocolate pudding. Andy, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Joyce needing a phone in advance and a pack of camels. God damn it. I love Winona Ryder so much. And crushes in this sequence. Like you already called out, like she's such a good employee and she's such a good mom. She's such a good person. But I love in this moment where she stands up for herself. She's like, no, fuck you, Donald. I want this shit. And then the little pack of ciggies on top, just icing on the cake.
That's my number 3 as well. And just that moment where she realized, like, wait, I can ask for anything? And then she goes like, and cigarettes too. Give me them Camels. Like, Joyce is my hero. But seriously, Donald, pay your employees.
That's my number 3 as well.
Hey,
Nice.
Joyce Byers coming in with the Queen of the Proletariat scene. Early adopter of
Queen.
middle class rights.
Queen.
And it's awesome. It's such like a little victory moment for a character that has just been a nervous wreck smoking up to this point. Going, my boy. Andy, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Joyce deciding if she should stay or if she should go. And she opts for the double trouble. I love her going through the house.
My girl Joyce going for the double trouble.
I love, she immediately catches on to like the lights and she's like, oh, if I need to follow these, and like the music starts playing and stuff. And like, that's all great. And I love how intuitive she is. And I just love
that's her boy.
The character moment of like making the choice to go back into the house. And I think that it would have been a great final scene for this episode if they had ended it with her shutting the door behind her.
Yeah.
That would have been dope, but it's okay.
Yeah, I kind of, when I was watching this last night and we got to that part, I was like, I could have swore this episode ends with Barb being taken, because it felt like this was going to be the end of the episode. So that's funny that you felt the same way. My number 2 is Jaybird and Will bonding over music with the Clash. It's such a sweet moment of older brother, sharing the pop culture juice with his little brother that he cares about, and he's trying to protect him in his own way from the awful seeing what's going on with their parents. I think that's super sweet and endearing. And I just love how it was like, yeah, I do like it for me. And Jonathan makes a point like, do you really like this? Like, you're not just saying this to impress me. Do you actually like this? And he has that great, like, you shouldn't like things because other people tell you you should. You should like your own stuff. That's such an important message. I wish my brothers did that when I was growing up. That would be so cool. But instead, I headbutted one of them in the gooch. So that's my number 2.
Triceratops Steve.
Yeah.
My number 2 is that scene between Hopper and Joyce where she says, wouldn't you know your own daughter? And it's just the combination of like her immediate regret and then him like, trying to collect himself and have empathy for where she's at and why she said that. But that's also like the sorest spot in the world for him. So much so that he's got to pop another 2 and all real quick. Get back to my baseline. Get back to my baseline. Yeah, it's a really powerful scene, I think. And Joyce dominates this whole episode. Andy, you're number 1?
My number 1 is Mike showing Elle around the house. And here's my dad's lazy boy. Here's my massive 22-inch TV. And it's just such a feel-good moment. And I love the genuine smile that Elle has when she kicks up the lazy boy for the first time. And it just gives me the tingles.
The tingles?
Yeah.
The Will tingles?
The good tingles.
Steve?
My number 1 favorite moment is 11 explaining to the boys where Will is. Just the way the music kicks in is a big part of it. Like, seriously, that first synth note drops and I get the goose flesh,
It's
like,
a great moment.
I get, it's so great. And just how visually interesting it is that to show the metaphor of what the upside down is by flipping the board. And she just instinctively knows this is Will's piece. And she instinctively knows this is a monster that she could put, because she could have just like, oh, Will, oh, wow, she picked Will's, what are the odds? And then she's like, and here's the monster and it's Dustin's
Mike.
piece. It's like, oh, well, she just guessed. But no, this implies that she just has these powers and there's something more to her. And it just furthers the mystery of how these 2 characters, Will and 11, are connected and what's actually going on at Hawkins. It's super cool.
That is a great answer. I wish I had chosen it. I feel like I did last time. And I think I also picked the lazy boy last time too. But I have to, my number 1 is the phone call when Will's like, Mom.
Oh,
and
great.
That heartbreaking breakdown that she experiences until the lights start flickering. And then it culminates in this incredible horror scene with the whatever coming through the fucking wall and this ultimatum that she's given. Should I stay or should I go now? All that stuff. It's such a great scene. I was kind of floored by it this time around. So that's my number one for sure. Which brings us to our Easter Eggos. And this is where we're going to talk about.
Did you want to know how your
I gave you a window there to step in. And I just went on. I'm going to move on to Eggos. This is getting awkward.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know if you were like leaving it all in the Nina this time or. Yeah. What was it last time?
So Andy, your number one was Joyce on the phone. Number two, phone call with Will saying mom. And your number three was 11 in the Lazy Boy. That was actually, so that got promoted.
Okay.
That got promoted. Two of my picks just got downgraded a level. So Joyce fleecing Donald was my number two. Joyce freaking out on the phone was my number three. So that got downgraded. And Will and Jaybird bonding over the clash was my number one. So, but I just slotted in the 11 scene as my number one, which is interesting. And then Kit, you were correct. Your number one was 11 telling the boys where Will is. Barb getting taken was your number two. And your number three were the boys just, quote, raining questions down on 11 in the beginning of the episode.
Oh, wow. So mine was, I talked all that shit, completely different.
Yeah, you're a liar.
Who's the liar now?
I was just locked in on Joyce this time around, man.
Because Winona Ryder's so incredible, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, now it's time for Easter Eggos. What we're going to talk about are references to 80s lore, tids and bits, obvious influences on the show that we can pull out, stuff like that. It's really fun. We'll go around. I have a ton this time. I'm going to rival Steve.
Yeah, my guy.
I'm going to rival Steve. I did some cheating this time.
I don't have a ton. I got a couple.
Okay, that's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll pull up your slack.
You know?
Like Steve's brother pulled up his undies.
Did you guys know that they mentioned Penhurst Asylum?
What?
What's that? Back there in season 4. That's where Victor Creel is. Yeah.
It's also a real place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
In real life?
I think it's based on a real place.
Well, I read it's a real place. I didn't do any ancillary research. I just took whoever said that and said, nice.
I think the place they film at is a real place, but the name is an invention.
Interesting.
Because it's based off of a place in Pennsylvania.
Penhurst?
Yes. Yep.
Well, I'll jump in with one more reference to or thing that gets brought back in season 4 when Hop says that he's talking to Sandra about feeling cursed. That comes back up for Hopper in season 4, and he says that he used to think that he was cursed, but now he thinks he is the curse.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Penhurst Asylum is now a haunted house in Pennsylvania, but was an asylum.
Okay. I thought it had a different name.
Cool.
My bad.
It's okay. We can't all be as smart as me.
I'm a piece of shit.
Steve?
The title of the episode, The Weirdo on Maple Street, is based off, I think, the Twilight episode from 1960, The Monsters Are
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yes, not vampires.
Not Sparkle Vampires.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone episode from 1960, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street.
Which is about aliens, right? Landing in a small town?
Yeah, so what happens is I actually have seen this episode. Eric and I have actually watched a lot of Twilight Zone recently.
Nice.
And so we watched this episode a couple weeks ago, and that's how we get in the mood. Girl, you want to hear Rod Sterling? Imagine a world where Steve is actually good at sex.
Focus on that.
You stepped into the Twilight Zone. But no, there's like a power outage on the street, Maple Street, and all the neighbors like, what happened? And one of the youngest boys like, I heard it was aliens. And then throughout the episode, they start getting paranoid that one of them or multiple of them are the alien responsible for the power outage, and they turn on each other and they fight. And spoiler alert for this episode from 1960. Then it cuts to aliens who, of course, are just normal ass human beings because it's the Twilight Zone, are on a hill watching the town destroy themselves. Like, this is how we take over the world. We just turn off the lights and they turn on each other. And that's all we have to do. Let's go to the next neighborhood. And then they get their spaceship and fly away.
It's very The Thing coded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how they got the title for this episode.
Love it. Love it. I just have a bunch of dumb stuff until I get into the good stuff. Like there's songs like The Cure.
The Cure?
The Clash.
Yes. Sorry. I was reading Michael Myers when I said that.
Well, it's funny because in our original coverage, you said both the Clash song and the Modern English song were by The Cure. And
No
even
fucking way.
And even Andy at one point was like, The Cure did this. And like, it was like, that's not The Cure.
Wow, dude, history repeating itself.
This is so good.
Nuts.
It's like the Jefferson Airplane thing again. The Michael Myers reference, which will come back many, many times. I'm just super excited to talk about the other stuff that I found.
Do it.
I don't want to jump in right now. I want to get more
Jump in right
Stevie
now.
stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll do some low-hanging Eggos. Obviously, Mike faking sick to show 11 around the house is exactly what E.T. and Elliot do
Yes.
in E.T. There's even the Yoda, because I think Elliot also has a Yoda
Elliot.
and quotes Yoda at E.T. And
does.
And E.T.'s like, I don't give a shit, where's Rory?
Yeah, this is like the most almost shot for shot ET shit until we get to like the wig later and stuff.
I forgot about the wig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Supercom was probably like an actual walkie-talkie. I didn't do any digging, but just went through it in there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
I think it is.
Okay, so I found a bunch of crazy stuff, some of which we missed on The Vanishing of Will Byers, some of which is just like in general stuff that I never knew. In keeping with this show, the way we do streaming things, some of the stuff Steve probably already said last week, and I wasn't listening.
Totally.
I know we talked about Elf and Leet when we did the show 8 years ago. The anime that I actually watched was a huge inspiration on 11, and it's about like a telekinesis girl that they discover and stuff. But we didn't talk about it in this round, so I think it's important.
I agree. Speak on it.
Speak on it. Let's see. I did not know this. Maybe I did and forgot. Let the Right One In, and so the subsequent remake, Let Me In, was what they used to make like a fake trailer when they were pitching the show. Because you do that when you make a pitch deck, you reference other current things to let executives know like what the tone you're going for is. And they used that. And I thought that was neat.
Cool.
The Demogorgon pushing through Joyce's wall.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's two things. It's definitely Freddy Krueger when he pushes through the wall above Nancy Thompson's bed, but it's also a reference to a similar thing happens in, Poltergeist is very similar with the blinking lights and stuff. So it's kind of a combination of those two things.
But also, I think Nancy Wheeler gets her names from Nancy Thompson.
I never thought about this. Prisoners, Denis Villeneuve's 2013 movie.
Yeah.
Was a huge inspiration for the plot of Stranger Things because they hadn't conceived of Will being missing quite yet. They had other elements of it. And Joyce just being the way she is very like Hugh Jackman from Prisoners inspired. Which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
11 pointing to Will in the photograph. Did you get this one?
Yeah.
A reference to the 1985 film Witness.
Have you seen this scene?
I have not.
So if you go on YouTube and you search positive identification witness, it's the scene that they're referencing if you're interested. But if you want to go on more about it.
I did like 5. You go ahead and knock a few out.
Witness is a movie starring Harrison Ford, and he's got this young kid that was witness to a murder, and they were showing him a lineup, and he doesn't say anything. But the person that did the murder is in a framed photo in the police office, and the way the boy points at the photo to Harrison Ford, for Harrison Ford to see, is exactly how they shot 11 pointing to Will's photo.
Boop. I wish somebody went boop, boop. In ADR.
Boop. I mean, obviously, there's more low-hanging fruit. The Jaws poster in Will's room, and also the Blood in the Water. We kind of briefly talked over that a little bit.
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal in Mike's room.
In no way would I have stolen that from Steve.
Yeah, baby. I take back every mean thing I've ever said about Mike Wheeler. He likes Dark Crystal, my guy.
There's not much else to watch.
That's true. And then there's also an Indiana Jones board game in Mike's room. I assume it's for Raiders due to the timeline because Temple of Doom wouldn't have come out yet, and that came out in 1984. But yeah, Indiana Jones. And the rest of the things I have is music based. If you want to pop off King.
Pop Off King. They supposedly reference Dark Souls as a huge inspiration to this show in general.
Game?
The game.
Really?
Dark Souls. Yeah. According to Matt Duffer, we're huge fans of Dark Souls games. And there's something about when you're playing Dark Souls, immediately when you're in that world, it has to do with the imagery. It has to do with the sound design. You're just immediately very uncomfortable and on edge. We wanted you to feel that way when you're in the Upside Down, which we haven't gotten to the Upside Down yet, but I just thought in general it was neat. I never heard of Dark Souls being mentioned before, but we've had a lot more first time we covered the show 8 years ago, Matt and Ross had not done anywhere near as many interviews about supposed things that they used and stuff. So there's more out there now. And speaking of which, maybe we've discussed this before. Maybe we discussed it last week. I don't know. But they say The Last of Us was another game that was a huge inspiration for them. That's why both Chief Hopper and Joel have a daughter named Sarah.
Oh, wow.
Who both died very tragically. And I can't believe we've never caught that before.
Wow. I guess we just assumed that this was so 80s coded, like they weren't even pulling from modern stuff to influence their works.
Yeah. 11 and Ellie are similarly named preteen girls.
Yeah.
And Ellie is immune to the mutant cordyceps fungus, while 11 instead possesses psychokinetic abilities. That might be a stretch there, but I think there's something there maybe. And just how Ellie reminds Joel of his deceased daughter, 11 potentially reminds Hopper of his own child who passed away.
Wow.
So that's huge. Huge for us on this show who also covers The Last of Us.
Huge.
I know we talk about it in a later episode as a more direct reference, but The Last Starfighter?
Yeah.
Both stories are rooted in the geek-friendly idea that playing video games or D&D campaigns can provide kids with knowledge they can use to solve real-life situations. Maybe a Police Academy reference in the fact that Callahan is named Callahan.
Oh my God. How do we never even pick up on that?
Because Debbie Callahan, Officer Debbie Callahan in the 80s comedy.
Wow.
And it would have been time last week as soon as the character pop up to bring up that the guy in Predator is named Jim Hopper.
Which guy in Predator?
The film's team leader that tried to recover the CIA agents was named Jim Hopper. I know when we covered Predator, we were like, Jim Hopper.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if we've ever talked about it when we were while covering Stranger Things.
Jim Hopper, you son of a bitch.
You've been pushing too many pencils, Hopper, since you left Chicago. Oh, that's what I wanted to remember. So not only is it when the Demogorgon pushes through the wall in Joyce's house, it's not only Nightmare on Elm Street, but also that happens in Videodrome, the Cronenberg film. A similar effect can be seen whenever the creature tears through the seams of the Upside Down to attack. But yeah, there's like a skin-colored television in that movie. It's on most of the like DVD covers and stuff, I think. So just a possible other inspiration. And then, sorry, I told you I had a ton. One that we've never talked about before, I think, is the 1988 anime classic, Akira. Which is also a loose inspiration, right? It follows a teenage with psychic powers. Duffer Brothers stated that there was a lot of Akira in the show's DNA. Akira features children who possess psychic powers, collectively referred to as espers. They were test subjects, experimented on in a secret government project, blah, 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 right? So very similar. And also like Russians during the Cold War, all that stuff that comes up later. Very Akira coded. I also read a lot about costume inspirations, which is really fun.
Yeah.
I never often think about the costume department. You got a lot of these too?
That's been popping up a lot in the book I've been reading.
Yeah.
They do a lot with that.
Yeah. So Dr. Brenner, they got his white hair from Robert Shaw's character, Colonel Martin Hessler in The Battle of the Bulge, which I thought
interesting.
was fascinating. There's also a lot of Carrie.
No one's ever had white hair before.
Carrie references. Well, like I think when they hang them up in the office for what they're going for, it's just kind of cool. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Joyce has a lot of costume notes, and I wonder if that's through the seasons. And but I'm just going to list some of the ideas here. When developing the character of Joyce Byers, the Duffer Brothers talked a lot about Richard Dreyfuss as Roy Neary in Close Encounters because of everybody being like not trusting them and being kind of crazy and shit.
This is important.
Playing with their mashed potatoes, all that stuff. And also they supposedly reference the film's atmosphere in general, like cinematography kind of angles. They referenced the movie Clue from 1985 a lot.
Yeah. I did see that the costume designer, specifically Nancy's new bra, is supposed to be from the bra that what's that character wear? What's that character's name from Fast Time at Ridgemont
Stacey
High?
Hamilton.
Stacey Hamilton's bra from that movie.
Nice.
More Joyce costumes. They reference Veronica from The Fly. And Annie from the movie Foxes from 1980. They also reference Dr. Brenner's not hair, but his outfit, Cary Grant from North by Northwest, the Alfred Hitchcock film.
Okay, great movie.
That's all I got. But sorry. I was digging deeper this time.
I love it. I love this for you.
Mike had a Ouija board in his closet.
Oh my God. What else you got, Steve?
I just got music stuff from here on out.
The Cure.
It's just the Cure. The Cure is not here.
Modern English.
We got Go Nowhere by Reagan Youth plays when Jonathan. It's actually the song that's ending before he starts listening to.
I knew you were going to be a nitpicker and figure
Should
that
I
out.
Stay or Should I Go by The Clash.
The 3 seconds of that song we got.
Yeah. Go! It's like, that's pretty much all you hear is the last, like, because it's a punk band where it's like, oh, I hate Ronald Reagan, blah, blah, blah.
In defense of Andy and I from 8 years ago, can we not all agree that Modern English in that track sounds a bit like The Cure? No?
bit.
No? Really?
Come on. Give it to
little
us,
bit.
Steve.
No.
One of the songs I remember reading in the goofs in IMDb that song hadn't come out yet in by this time in 84.
The Modern English
Is
song?
that the one?
I think it's the Go Nowhere song by Reagan Youth. But there's also a song in here that's from fucking 2013. So we'll get to that one in a second.
Well, go on. Get to it.
Tie a Yellow Ribbon is by Brotherhood of Man is what Barb and Nancy are listening to. Tie a Yellow Ribbon is a very popular song that's been covered a million times by even Frank Sinatra. Raise a Little Hell by Trooper is what Steve Harrington is listening to when he opens the door.
Ladies.
Hello, ladies. Great song. Such a fun one. I Melt With You by Modern English. We've already talked about that. It's not The Cure. Hazy Shade of Winter by the Bangles is what closes the episode out. That song fucking slaps.
It's such a good song.
Oh, man. And okay, then we get this song. It's called I'm Taking Off, parentheses, Shield Your Eyes by Space Knife. It is the song that's playing when Jonathan busts into Lonnie's house and you see Cynthia is watching a music video. And that's the song that's playing. So the music video and the song is by Space Knife. Space Knife was released in 2013. It is by a guy named Craig Johnson, who is the Stranger Things set designer.
Oh.
And that's his personal like little
That's cute.
band project. It is
I wish my band name was Space Knife.
Isn't it
Pretty
awesome?
Cool one.
It's all of Space Knife's work is a tongue-in-cheek synth band. It's supposed to be goofy. He released these songs originally. It's so funny. In 2013, he released a song on Bandcamp as part of a 3-song EP called Greatest Hits Volume 1. That's like the first thing they released. And so Craig Johnson says that when he writes all of his Space Knife songs, he just puts on John Carpenter synth music and just,
why wouldn't you?
And just bases it off those. So it's just a fun little. Oh, we got the set designer that does fun John Carpenter inspired synth songs.
I've also noticed like the first AD or something in the credits every time is named Ives.
Yeah,
You think that's that Terry Ives was like a nod to their homie Ted?
maybe. Maybe. And then obviously we talked about the mentions of Joy Division, David Bowie, The Smiths, and television. But those are my song Easter eggs.
Nice. Are we done with Eggos?
I think so.
Okay, that brings us to our 11 out of 10 nomination, our favorite performance of Chapter 2, The Weirdo on Maple Street. Did anyone not choose Winona Ryder?
I did not choose her.
Oh, you didn't? None of you
No, I did pick
Oh,
her.
oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, you answered it correctly, but it's like, fuck you for that. You know what I mean?
Winona Ride Me Home, you know? Like, it's good shit.
You should have workshopped that a little
No,
more.
I feel good about it and I stand by it.
You could have went Winona Ryder. I hardly know her. That would have been a good Andy joke.
I'm good with it. Yeah, no, she fucking cried. How did you not pick her, Steve?
This is Joyce's episode. She crushed it. She was in all three
Who
of
the
my top
fuck
moments.
did you pick?
That's okay. We first off, we be nice to Steve.
Whoa, let's not get hot. I'm just saying I know who we all picked 7 years ago, and it's
Winona
very
Ride
different
Me
than
Home?
Winona Ryder.
Oh, did we pick someone?
She wasn't on any of my top threes last time, but
Did we all everybody last time?
are you going Millie Bobby B?
I'm doing Millie Bobby B.
Is that what we all picked last time?
Pretty much. Andy picked Winona Ryder last time.
Oh,
You and I-
Hey, you guys
Actually-
are liars. Liars.
Here's the
Ride
thing.
me home.
Millie Bobby Brown Bon Jovi. I picked her last time, so I'm not a liar. Millie Bobby Brown Bon Jovi. We talked specifically about how she is such a great window into this world, and she has to do a lot with very little, where she has to express, the pain, the wonder, and not communicate verbally. And actually, it's funny because Andy picked Winona Ryder first, and then Kit says, that's a great choice. Winona Ryder's great. But Millie Bobby Brown reminds me of Kristen Stewart, who is doing a lot of acting normal without, and you say acting normal without being normal is harder than acting manic, which is why you didn't give it to Joyce. specifically.
I was just saying whatever, but then
but I still think that Millie Bobby Brown like does such a wonderful job. It's subtle. It's not very big, but it's very evocative and emotive and successful.
I know that early on people praised Winona Ryder a lot, and back then I definitely felt like she was overacting a lot and just is kind of I don't want to say anything that's out of turn or insulting, but like is a little bit of an eccentric person in real life. So it's like you watch her, that famous clip of them accepting the awards and she's looking all around and stuff. It's like, give her a cigarette. And also now I have an opposite bias where, again, I know I've seen a lot more of Millie Bobby Brown's work. So I think I'll praise her less throughout this entire show. But at the time I was just like, who is this diva? Who is this kid? She is incredible, right? But that's a funny little insight to notice back then. Any chance I got to praise Kristen Stewart, I would.
Literally, Millie Bobby Brown or Winona Ryder are the two.
David Harbour reminds me a lot of Kristen Stewart. You know.
Okay. Those are our 11 out of 10s. We got 2 Winona Ryders, 1 Millie Bobby Brown. But now it's time to journey into the Nina.
Step into the Nina.
We have covered this show 8 years ago, and now we're different people covering it again. What did you dredge up, Steve?
Put on your pool shoes, get your swim trunks, blindfold yourself, and hop into the Nina. We've got some schlitz. We've got some schlitz. I have chosen 5 clips from our previous coverage of the Weirdo on Maple Street way back from 2017. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip out of context, and you guys have to guess what we were talking about. What was the context? Why did we say this thing?
Who knows?
Now, this first clip is the longest of the bunch. It's not super long, but it's like maybe 25 seconds long. But are you ready to hear the first clip?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Is that a Denny's joke? I just realized, or was that me?
It could be.
I mean, I'm a genius. It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, they do sound similar.
Breakfast at Benny's. Is that a Breakfast at Tiffany's 80s illusion? Which is a 50s film, but I meant like the song. What about? Is that an 80s song? I'm terrible with the music on this show.
90s song.
Yeah, it's whatever. Stu, nobody asked you, bud.
So what were we talking about?
It had to be when Hopper was at Benny's. Well, maybe not, but I would assume, because we did mention Benny's and Denny's, and it was Benny's Burgers, and he goes to see the body and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much on the money. Specifically, we were joking about how Benny's Diner is so close to the laboratory, and I think you were making the joke that like Denny's, there's a Benny's everywhere, which was the joke you were making. Let's go on to...
I was funnier back then.
You're definitely more confident back then.
for less reasons.
Let's look at clip number 2.
Dinner is for liquor and contemplation, guys. Liquor and contemplation.
What were we talking about?
Baby Holly.
Yeah.
Yep. Specifically at the dinner when 11 walked by and she starts drinking. Yep. Dinner is for liquor and contemplation. Third one.
I mean,
I wouldn't blame you. The seed is strong.
Let's see the Game of Thrones reference. I love it.
What were we talking about?
The seed
That
is
was
strong.
the first Game of Thrones reference on our show.
Long before we got to
I wouldn't blame you. The seed is strong.
Lord knows. Steve?
Yeah?
No, Steve having sex?
No, it is not. It is not Steve having sex.
Joyce recognizing her son's voice.
No.
Breathing.
You were both incorrect.
Dang.
We are specifically
You
talking.
can't give me those wide eyes. 'Cause, like that is correct face.
No.
The fuck?
No, we were specifically talking about how Cynthia thinks Jonathan is hot and it's gross.
Oh fuck.
And Lonnie is saying, I don't blame you for wanting to fuck my kid.
Yeah,
The
'cause
seed is strong.
That face is, he makes a face
Damn
like,
it.
That's fair.
All right, number 4.
Yeah, they're definitely leaving those breadcrumbs to get to that assumption.
Sex crumbs, we'll call it.
Sex crumbs. That just sounds gross. Oh, God.
What sex crumbs were we talking about? What's that about?
It was either Steve and Nancy or Sandra and Hopper. It has to be Steve and Nancy. Maybe the writing genius of... No, because that didn't happen yet. I hadn't seen episode 3 yet. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Andy, do you have a guess?
Is it like the 80s trope where when people have sex, bad things happen?
I
Slasher trope, yeah.
like where you're going with that, but no, we were talking about how in this episode specifically, there's mention where Lonnie says, Hopper's not still chief, is there? And then Callahan had said, oh, did Hopper and Joyce have, they screwed each other, right? So we were talking, they were leaving breadcrumbs to imply that there was a previous relationship between Hopper and Joyce, sex crumbs, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I meant to talk about that. It's interesting that you brought that up, Andy, because around the time period of horror films, specifically slasher, that this show is inspired by, it would have been the teens having sex that got eaten by the monster for sure, and it was the only teen not having sex that got killed.
Subversion. Subversion of expectations. Am I right?
Sex crumbs.
Which, you know, we have the copyright on that band name.
Sex crumbs.
Subversion of expectations.
No. Sex crumbs, Andy.
That's our first EP, though. All right, and this is our last one for the Nina. Here we go.
When one door closes.
Another open vagina.
Yeah.
That's what you meant. Just in case the listeners didn't get it.
Welcome back to Vagina Things.
What are we talking about in that clip?
Something we shouldn't be. Door closes. Another one opens. Vagina. That's worse than Tilda Swinton. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Joyce going back into the house.
No, it has to be like a...
And he's like, what? There's a door. There's a vagina. It tracks.
It has to be another sex thing. I don't know, man.
We're talking specifically about Sandra coming out and telling Hopper to close the door so she can be cold because he left the door open. And then I make that joke like, well, one door closes. And then you were referencing because we had just stopped talking about the vagina portal like a minute before. And so you're like, a vagina opens?
Vagina things.
Vagina things. And that concludes Nina. Thank you all for being in my Nina.
Thanks for letting us in your Nina.
Anytime.
When one door closes.
I'm pruning in here. It's nice to have other people show up from time to time.
I'm all wrinkly. Now it's time. Before we do the final Mad Lib, I want to update you guys on the Will Call.
Will!
Which is something that Steve did because he's a fun guy last time. He's a real mushroom.
I'm not fun anymore.
He was counting all the Will shouts. And I remember, I might have made this up, but I remember you kind of like, not gave up, but you were like, I'm only counting like distinct Wills.
I looked it up. The rule was it's anyone shouting Will, but if main characters start talking over 80-yard people in the background, those Wills don't count. It's only the people who are like front and center on frame.
I know why you did that because it's very fucking difficult to take notes on the show because that whole scene where Callahan's like, didn't you have sex with her, Hop? I didn't have any notes on that scene because I was like trying to hear the Wills.
Will.
But I am a stronger man than you and tried to count them.
You are.
I don't know if it's accurate. I got 29.
Nice.
Which is 8 more than last episode, which brings our total count to 50.
Nice.
50 Wills in 2 episodes.
My count from 2017 was 17.
Oh, really?
Episode. Yeah, I found that in our previous coverage.
I might have just made up some numbers.
I think you're more correct because I made a point of saying I wasn't counting background people.
They were going ham back there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm doing it.
So I got 50 so far, but that's the Will Call thus far, which our last segment, it's time to figure out what kind of Mad Lib we created.
MadLibs! You guys ready to hear the story you put together titled Hawkins Middle AV Club?
I am ready.
Here we go. Testing 1, 2, 417. Hey, you. Yes, you. Want to get your knees on the latest dinosaur equipment? Does the thought of using a Heathkit DNA shack radio thrill you? Interested in sexting out with some of Hawkins' finest constituents?
Thank God.
Then AW Club is the club for you. Scrape on down to room 64 on Wednesdays after the squeegee rings. See President Kit Laser Wheeler for any questions, or come find me, your hairy science teacher, Mr. Clark, in my classroom after cucumbers.
No.
Remember, curiosity is lubing up at the door. Will you open it?
Not after the cucumbers.
Will you open it?
Sign up sheet is for interested bidets only. Any funny doodles, unkind messages, or fake names such as Joe Mama or Clark Butts will result in after Fortress of Solitude detention. And thus concludes Hawkins Middle AV Club.
Let's go. We crushed it.
It's interest is lubing up at the door.
Oh, man. Open up. Right after cucumbers, too, man. Well, that ends our coverage of Chapter 2 of Season 1, The Weirdo on Maple Street. Next week, we'll be talking about Chapter 3, of course. And, of course, all of our Game of Thrones coverage and fun stuff is still going on at patreon.com/streaming things. You can get ad-free episodes of this show as well at the $5 tier and above. Access to our Discord. Live show tickets are on sale for November 7th in Cincinnati if you want to see this kind of shit in person for some reason. And also, yeah, we're still covering big blockbuster releases each week on the main feed every Monday as well. So thank you guys for listening. That's all the time we've got for right now. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Streaming Things. Streaming Stranger Things.
Happy streaming.
Stephen King is the shit. The 80s fucking rock. Eggos, Top Gun, Transformers, Bebop Rocksteady, Cobra Commander, Dungeons and Dragons, synthesizers, Atari, big glasses, hairspray, Black Michael Jackson. Winner. That's going in.
Oh, no.
Now that's going in, dude. Be ballsy.